All right, welcome to RSG on the road here in Maui. Like I said, guys, I'm going to be bringing on my RSG crew to be with me. All the callers are brought to you by Bowman Medical Group. Bowman Medical Group, where they're going to be doing comprehensive mental health care services. We also are sponsored by Aston Mahana, and it's a resort where there's full suites and kitchens. It's like a home away from home in paradise. So I got my man here, Carl Hampton. We call him the Hammer. Man, Hamp, I know you had a chance to watch that Duke game. Duke just beat Auburn 78-72. It was an incredible game down the stretch. Marquise Bolden, who had been much maligned for most of his career. I mean, the kid just had some injuries, really came through big in the game tonight and made it happen. That backcourt of Brown and Harper, I mean, Harper has the heart of a lion. That kid is competitive as it can be. Tyus Jones, Trey Jones, not Tyus. Trey,
yeah, that's his brother. That's his brother.
I said it, but Trey really won me over. I think we always talk about the other three freshmen, but this kid is clearly a floor general. But what was some of your thoughts when watching that game when you really saw Duke get tested for the first time?
Yeah, about Bolden, it was great showing him as a veteran. And like you say, he was much maligned, but the brother brought it today. Brought it on the defensive end, brought it with energy, and showed the young cats, Barrett, Reddish, as well as big Mount Zion, that he can ball. And so the bottom line is that he was the glue to he made sure. I mean, Duke came out a little bit flat, but then they brought it and close the deal. So give Brother Bolden credit, and much love to Brother Bolden in Maui, where you down there.
Yeah. One of the interesting things, on a previous podcast, we had talked about Zion. I thought one of the things against stiffer competition that they're going to get in his body early across half court, make it very difficult to him. And I think that's what we've seen in Maui. It wasn't like they weren't tested in the first game in a way that it was showing, but it showed a little bit. I asked the Coach K and folks about this. I think they just kind of talked him through it. But in this game, I think it became a little bit more evident that he was frustrated. But he found other things to do on the court and showed him pretty much of an all-around game. And so, it's been interesting to watch his maturity as a player. But he was clearly frustrated early on in that game. He got 3 fouls. He got 1 foul about 90 feet away from the basket.
Zion kind of working through some frustration. It seemed like he got frustrated early on in this game, but it seemed like he kind of picked up in other ways. What kind of growth did you see from him in this game today?
I actually thought today he put some pressure on himself. He usually is a kid that's having a lot of fun. At one of the timeouts in the first half, I said, smile. I have fun. That's, I think he wants to be so good, and that we got to be careful for all these guys not to put pressure on themselves and just to play the game because they love to play. And then he got better on it. He and Cam have to it's part of learning. They have to stay away from silly fouls. And Cam only played 7 minutes.
What do you see with him, as a player? I mean, obviously people talk about the highlight dunks, but when you see his prospect for the pros, what's your opinion on that?
I think he could be a transcendent talent, brother, because the bottom line is that he's got the football type body. I mean, he got the Gronk type body. His dad played ball, and he's got a nice touch from the outside. And you can get up, and we've seen all the stuff as what dunking, but the bottom line, you're right, that even with a frustrating game today, he showed the mostly faceted part of his game, why he was so highly recruited. And so I was impressed with the fact that despite the frustrations of today, he brought in other parts of the court. That's what you have to do to show value for Coach K, or you're going to sit on the bench. Plain and simple. I don't care who you are.
This is RSG on the road. I'm here with my man, Carl Hampton, Hammer. We always say Stanford educated, UW Law educated, but from the south side of Chicago, bringing it to you've seen a lot of basketball in years, and you hear a lot of comparisons between this team and the Fab Five. And, Jalen Rose has been asked, whether or not Zion would take one of the positions. But when you look at this team and these freshmen and compare them to the Fab Five, how do you compare them?
There's no comparison. I mean, not dissing Duke, but the bottom line is that the Fab Five is a cultural phenomenon. I'm not here to kiss up to you. I know you love blue, bleed blue, love blue. But the bottom line is that, let's be real, these cats can ball and Duke, but the bottom line is that the Fab Five was a cultural phenomenon. And you look at the fact that I grew up when Juwan committed to Michigan, that blew us away because everyone thought he was going to Arizona. And the fact they brought this was the first time they did this together. But the bottom line is, you look at the baggy shorts, you look at the fact that these kids were racially harassed because of the fact that they're bringing the hood to Ann Arbor, Michigan. How dare they? And so the main thing is that you look at C-Web, you look at Jimmy, you look at Jalen, Ray, and brother, and what's final brother? Jimmy King. But the bottom line is that you look at all the cats in the Fab Five. The main thing is that the Fab Five will always be transcended. Look at it 25 years later, the 30 for 30s, and again, Zion, RJ, Reddish, and Trey Jones can ball, but not going to be the cultural icons that Weber and Jalen Rose is right now. I mean, all of them, they're national figures, so that's the main thing.
You're listening to RSG on the road here at MAUI, at the MAUI Invitational. I just finished up watching Duke defeat Auburn, top 10 team. It was a great battle. I'm on the Bowman Medical Group hotline with my guy, Carl Hampton. We're also brought to you by Aston Mahana, the resort that has all the fixtures of a family and a paradise. Everything has an ocean view. Our folks at Aston Mahana. It's one of the teams that I compared them to, and I just conducted an interview with one of the former players of that team, because I felt like the comparison to the Fab Five wasn't really complete. When I watched this team play today, because of the length and how tall, all of them about the same size. It's the 30-year reunion of the Fighting Illini making their run.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where you had Kelly Battle, which in some ways could have been your Zion Williamson. The guy who put the dunks on you. If you turn your head, he was going to dunk on you.
360, bro. 360 all day.
360. You had Kendall Gill, Nick Anderson, Steve Bardo. HAMPTON. All these guys had length. All were long. You had Marcus Liberty. All these guys were in that 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" range. You could switch. In some ways, like Coach K, you could almost play positionless basketball. You had P.J. Bowman coming off the bench, who we interviewed, Dr. Bowman. Larry Smith. You had a deep team. Yes, right. You came up in Illinois, and you were able to.
Yes, I did. That was my team, bro. That was my team.
Tell me what it meant to watch that team. That team was an exciting team, had a lot of energy behind it. Like, what did it mean to you as someone growing up in Chicago and Illinois to watch the energy around that team?
It was just a pride, man. The bottom line is these are cats that came from the hood and they stayed in the state. And, right now, college basketball game is wonderful, but cats aren't staying at home right now, except for this kid that just committed to Penny. But that was a game as far as him being Memphis East, but that's an aberration. But you had cats that we knew about. Nick, you knew about Marcus, knew about Kenny transfer. Remember that. He transferred from NIU.
That's right.
Coach got fired, so he sat out a year. Loga Ball, Lentz, obviously was an international player. PJ came from Ann Arbor with the ball. So the bottom line was a sense of pride to see them ball out. And you're right, as far as them being interchangeable, as far as all of them being 6'7", 6'8", could guard the perimeter. I mean, the one weakness obviously was if Jens could ball, then we'd have had a title, but that wasn't the case. But there was a sense of pride again to see, because we had DePaul basketball where cats came from the local area, and we had nothing but pride. And you had Chicago basketball as pinnacle back then, and now we're just raggedy. And so they're just raggedy. And we're getting headlines for coaches, assistant coaches clowning, and we're getting headlines for overpaying overrated coaches from from Oklahoma State. And it's just, I mean, it's embarrassing right now, the state of and the bottom line was the Jimmy Collins pipeline. Don't forget that. I was talking with my boys about this today. When they didn't give Jimmy Collins a job, they gave DeLon Kruger.
That's right.
That ruined Illinois basketball. I hate to say forever because the Cubs won, so you can't say forever. But it ruined it for generations. I'll put it that way. Generations, my brother. And it was a pleasure to see Kendall Gill and all these cats stay in the state, represent the state, and get to the Final Four, but just couldn't do it. And you could blame Lou, whatever, but if we had that one big guy, probably would have had a title, but wasn't the case, man.
All right, you listen to RSG on the road here in Maui. We're on the Bowman Medical Group hotline. I'm here with my man, Carl Hampton. Before we close, man, you and I are big football. We do our fantasy football. We had an unbelievable matchup last night in Monday Night Football between the Rams and the Chiefs. The Rams squeaked out and got the victory over the Chiefs. The question I want to say, a lot of people are talking about, when you look at, your opinion of that game, but also who out of those two teams, if you said one team won't make it to the Super Bowl, which team would you say won't make it to the Super Bowl out of their conference?
It's going to be the Rams because they're going against the Saints. So that's the bottom line. So, if the Saints were in another division, but the Saints are the truth. I mean, they went just crush the Bengals, crush Titans. So they're just balling. And every side of the ball with Davenport and Williams. And, I mean, you got a great team, and I think they're the best team in football. KC, I think, will get through because the bottom line is that, Brady and the Cats just aren't as good. Pittsburgh could do it, but they were disappointing last week against Jacksonville. Really didn't bring it as much. And Connor's starting to be a little bit exposed, I think. And so, I'd say definitely the Rams won't be, but not for not. I think, Talib's got to come back. But Donald was balling last night. He's not, if not the best player in football, one of the best players in football. But that's how it is. But it was just a classic, instant classic, they say on the mothership. And, it was fun to see. And usually I don't like the type of football, but, man, to see that type of talent ball. And the main thing about it wasn't, like I said, people try to compare the Big Ten. No, the Big Ten defense is raggedy. That's why they're scoring. But these are some of the best cats as far as defense, and they were just outplaying them and transcendent play by Pat Mahomes and Kelsey and Hunt and Tyreek Hill. And then the other side of the ball, Todd Gurley had an average game and still balled out. And Everett and Jared Goff, who's the bust, some so-called bust, is balling. And so it was a tremendous game with Big Andy and McVay going at it, and love to see it again. But I think it's going to be Peyton and Big Andy and then I think the Saints are going to bring it back. So to Bourbon Street. So yeah.
Well, hey, Hammer, man, I'm glad you bring it. Thank you for joining me on the RSG.
Thank you for inviting me, bro. I told my guests in the barbershop that you were down in Maui, man, and they're like, they know who you are, bro. So cats were like, the eyes were opening. So you bringing it on another level, it's going to be international soon, man. We'll have you overseas with some brother. So, but yeah, it just looks great out there. It's cold in Wisconsin right now. We love Wisconsin, but it's cold. And bottom line is that I know you got Arizona and Zags going at it right now, and so that's going to be a great game. But, yeah, thanks a lot. Look forward to being in the future. D. Wils, happy Thanksgiving, bro. I don't know if you going to Michigan or you going to go stay in the Rock Vegas or Janesville. I'm going to Chi-Town all day. But real talk, when the sun goes down, I'll be in the crib Straight up in the crib because they are clowning right now in Chicago. So pray for my city because what happened? You probably happened that cat Mercy Hospital and it's just like OK Corral in my city. But that's why Bring Me the Line really touches my heart because those were the great times, man. But now, sadly, the state of Illinois basketball is raggedy from the Hammers. So it's a disgrace. And we got cats like Davis going other places. And it's just a shame. But thank you for bringing back that line. Man, I might have to get on YouTube and watch a Kenny Bell 360 dunk, just to hype me up. So, because I was just, man, I used to watch, it was like, I used to watch every game of them, man. And that was my squad. And the C-Cats, like I said, Juwan Howard, come from my hood, literally around the block, coming ball. And Jalen Rose representing Detroit, and C. Webb, and Jimmy King representing Dallas, and Ray Jackson representing down south, man. Great team, but yeah, as far as the comparison, Fab Five, no comparison, bro. No comparison.
That's what you heard. That's why we call it, baby. Stanford educated, UW Law educated from the South Side. That's my man, Carl Hampton. RSG, this is how we do it. Thank you to my good folks there at Aston Mahana, Bowman Medical Group. This is RSG on the road in Maui. We're loving it. I'll holler.
Be safe, bro. Stay up.